All right. Let's switch to kidney stones for just a minute. There's something that I ran across recently. One of our friends in Chattanooga, he's a doctor of public health, and he's a real researcher. And he ended up with a kidney stone about as big as his thumb. So he got an x-ray of it. He knew something was wrong, but he had been looking in his microscope with his urine to see what was in it, what kind of crystals were forming, and it was oxalic acid crystals. So he looked up what would dissolve oxalic acid crystals, and he figured out what would help. So he went to the doctor, they x-rayed it, he said, "We have got to get this out here, we got to do surgery on you." And he said, "Doc, could you give me just 1 month of trying to dissolve that thing?" And he goes, "Nobody dissolves anything that's 10 centimeters like that." You know, he said, that's humongous. And he goes, "Well, Doc, I really want to try it." And so he said, "You come back and get an x-ray in 1 month." So he started drinking lemon juice and NAC. It's N-acetyl, to get it right, cysteine. N-acetylcysteine. There's two kinds of NAC. One is eye drops you can use to help with cataracts, but this is the normal one that you'd see at Walmart or wherever. NAC. N-acetylcysteine. And that dissolves specifically those oxalic acid crystals. So he started looking in his urine. He goes, "Whoa, there's a ton in there now." And it's really passing it. And so in 1 month he went back to the doctor, had an x-ray, and there wasn't even a trace of it left. And the doctor wouldn't even come out and talk to him. He said, "Send that fellow home." He's probably afraid he was going to lose business because he had figured out what would dissolve him.
So people usually say apple juice, so this was better than...
So you drink lemon juice?
He drank lemon juice, and that helped to dissolve it too, and then NAC.
Gallstone. How much lemon
Not a
juice?
gallstone. This
How much
was
lemon juice a day?
I don't know. But he just said he was using a fair amount of lemon juice.
Just good for anything for your immune system. Dr. Nedley was recommending that if you come down with the coronavirus, take this.
Is it available here?
I don't know.
It's very cheap and it's common over in the States, so I would imagine.
It's saying why there's a couple of health food stores we could look.
You'll find it here somewhere.
And my husband uses it for depression, for everything. He uses it for anytime anybody feels like they're coming down with a cold, he doesn't take that.
It's an immune booster then.
Yeah, it's an immune booster.
It's a normal thing your body produces. It's just that you get a larger dosage of it when you take it with this. It's in a capsule. Yeah, capsule. And also we have taken it and break the capsule apart and just put a tiny bit on your mouth, and you can brush your teeth with it. Now there's some kinds of toothpaste that have NAC in it. But we just take it, I just take my wet toothbrush and just keep that one of those broken up in a little Tupperware, and I just put a little bit on my toothbrush and brush. Every time I do that, maybe once a week, it feels like I've just had my teeth cleaned. It's magical how it dissolves the plaque. I used to have, when I go to get my teeth cleaned, I hear her going, you know, getting all kinds of plaque, especially in the front teeth, you know. And now it's just got that kind of like, she doesn't need to do a thing. I don't even hear any little pop, 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 pop. There's nothing. It's just like smooth. And I said, "Well, how's things looking?" She said, "Everything looks good." And I hate to ask her. I've asked her before. That's the only thing I've done different.
But it's not wearing down the enamel.
No, I don't think it's not. I don't think so. It dissolves the. Yeah, I don't do it every day. Once a week, once a month, something like that. When you feel like, oh, I think I feel like getting my teeth cleaned, and just have a little brush of it. And you only brush for, like, you know, same as normal, about a minute or something like that, and then rinse it out, and you can swallow it because it's good for you.
We have a friend who has had issues with kidney stones and they did some research and found that the parsnips, what they call white carrots,
Yeah.
have some features in them that are very good for dissolving stones. I believe it's kidney stones.
Okay, good.
Is it the same as Chinese radish?
Yeah.
And they made it into, they put it in vegetable juice. They were juicing it. But I've just taken to making that a regular part of our diet. And I have found that you boil it down until it's kind of see-through, and it tastes fine as a vegetable. And I just figured there's a lot of good stuff in there. And there's times in the last, I don't know, month or two, more than a month, maybe a month and a half or something, where I was feeling like I was having some kind of issue with my liver. I was having several symptoms. And after I use a lot of that vegetable, I find my symptoms going.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
So I just encourage you, use a lot of that as a vegetable in your cooking, whatever. And if you want extra, I guess you can juice it, but it's spicy if you use it.
Okay. One other, thank you.
If you boil it until it's thoroughly cooked, it's not spicy at all. It's actually sweet. It has a very
That way all the
sweet.
time, but we didn't really care for it.
Probably
Good.
in a vegetable soup.
That's what
Yeah, in the soup, you don't have to eat it as the only vegetable,
Yeah.
although we like it that way.
Okay, good.
So it's just the long white things that look like carrots.
Very helpful.
One of my other friends had kidney stone, and he used celery seed. You make a tea out of it, and it makes it kind of slippery, and somehow that adds to so that the kidney stone can pass more easily. I don't know that it dissolves, but it passes more easily. Mike, you had a comment?
Just another testimony is that I was encouraged to start brushing my teeth first thing in the morning when I got up. And so I thought that's different, but I started doing it. Before I started doing it, I had to go to the dentist on a regular basis to get that stuff taken off my teeth, especially the inside of the bottom of my jaw. But once I started brushing my teeth in the morning, that has gone away, and it's like my teeth are clean constantly. It's amazing.
Before you drink water, before you do anything,
First
Really?
thing in the morning, just brush your teeth normally, and it's like,
And-
it's gone.
spit everything out.
Okay, good. Some people do that and they swallow that. They just brush with a dry brush just to get their B12 because it forms some bacteria in your teeth and stuff.
That's why I wasn't
Wait.
doing the brushing in the morning, but then I found out that your body's putting all the toxins out during the night, so it's best to clean that out.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but the brain gets detoxified during the night, and that's one of the places the toxins and stuff get put.
Interesting.
It's better to get rid of
So
it.
if you're drinking water, then you kind of swallow it before you.
You would want to brush your teeth and get rid of it first, and then
Like just put some water down, rinse it out, and spit it out right after you brush your teeth.
yeah, that sounds.
Then you don't have to
I
swallow.
use a little,
The other thing for kidney stones is corn silk.
Yes.
For bladder infections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the silk from the corn.
Yeah, and there's only a certain time of year that we have most of it.
Now, if you're interested, you can find this book here, Nature's Remedies. They just printed it recently, and it's all kinds of different herbs and diseases. This is printed here, and I don't know if it's in Thailand but you can buy it here. Made,
Oh, and
But it's for this part.
and it was 900 baht is what we paid for it. It might be just a little bit more. This was at a special sale, but the pictures, everything that has different diseases like asthma. It'll have different herbs and fruits that seem to help with asthma, and
oh, there's the nani. I see nani tree.
The book like this.
yeah. Yeah, this one's all in English.
I see the nani.
something the
Nani
literature
tree.
evangelists have.
Yeah, the literature evangelists sell it. But
Yes, that's what I saw.
depression,
It's a Filipino.
Yeah.
But it's
I mean, hair loss. It even has for bald spots like mine, you know, with little hair loss. And I better. What's it say? Lamut? I don't know. Yeah, we haven't yet. It's in English, yeah. So this will be great for learning English. You pass it around. That's just one thing that might. Here, just a second. Let me
There's somebody here that can
pull that out.
I think Dr. Joy, that's some of his books.
You good here?
Canvassers are selling them. There was somebody, one of the Filipino canvassers was selling them.
Yes, they printed many of them in the Philippines. But I think he has some extra that he didn't take in that might be lost. So I'll check to see.
Yeah, how much would it be?
Probably Sydney's one.
I'll have to communicate.
That one was $900.
I'd like to have one.
Yeah, it's useful.
Because then I can use it on the border. I mean, we've got lots of those plants.
You know, Byron, I might mention regarding charcoal, we have another friend, missionary friend, who was treating somebody that was having kidney problems with charcoal baths. She wasn't getting dialysis, but her life was extended for quite a long time with just charcoal baths.
Yeah. Because she couldn't get dialysis treatments. I heard somebody else just recently say that they were doing daily charcoal baths and avoiding the dialysis. Yeah.
Kidneys, they shut down. That's all she could do.
Yeah, that's good.
Would it
She didn't even do that.
Would it be a more profound treatment, for want of a better word, to do the charcoal poultice to the kidney as opposed to the charcoal bath?
It's hard to say. I don't know. I would think the poultice would be on there longer, although the bath you're covered with more skin surface. So probably both. If I needed to have dialysis and it wasn't available, I would do both. Here's Dr. Agatha Thrash's book on home remedies. It's one of them. She had many different ones. So.
Dr. Agatha Thrash. There's a thick manual, but it's like her life work.
The consultation sheets kind of all
It's
compiled.
consultation sheets in our book.
No, it's just it just came out about 4 or 5 years
Yes.
ago.
I think is it just called Natural Remedies or something like that?
Very good. It has everything. You look up any condition and it tells what to do for it. I guess
Because I had all the consultations in a bound, and I compared, and I saw very much common.
yes, I guess it was.
So they just took the consultations and redid it and put it into a nice format. That not everything that's in the consultations are in that. The little bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a lot of
They told us that that was kind of big. It came out, I think, around the time she died or similar, around that time. It said it was like her life work. Which is good.
It's good.
Very useful.
One other book is Marianne McNeilis's God's Healing Way. This has been here in Thailand for many years, but goes through hydrotherapy, different things, how to do different treatments, goes through New Start. One thing I was going to mention is that I was at Weimar when New Start first was coined by one of the patients, one of the patient's husband, a Baptist couple. In the second group, we told them what the natural remedies were, and they said, we're looking for an acronym that would work for this. The next day he came up with this, and he said, I worked on it quite a bit last night, and what do you think about this? Nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, and he went down through New Start, and we went, that's phenomenal.
Wow.
That is just really exciting, and it's been all around the world from that one fellow. He came up, it was just a perfect acronym because it does give us a new start in life. Our bodies are trying to heal all the time. It's working to heal, and we shoot ourselves in the foot by eating the wrong stuff, by not sleeping, by stressing out over situations we should give to God, and by not asking forgiveness for things we should from God and our loved ones. Just so many things, but your body wants to heal. It's got the potential to heal. We just don't let it. So one of the little small thing, we know that we can get toxic poisoning from aluminum. A lot of people get Alzheimer's disease, they think, or some say that you do. But I've discovered years and years ago, and I've been using this almost 30 years, that if you use a diaper rash cream
Oh, zinc oxide.
with zinc oxide, 12% zinc oxide in it, you don't have to use a deodorant for 7 days. It's a 7-day deodorant. I first saw this at Uchee Pines had a little store, and it had a little plastic container, and it said 7-day deodorant, and it was $2 or something like that. I opened it up and I looked at it and I smelt it, and that's a familiar smell. It smells like zinc oxide. And so they just squeeze a little zinc oxide in there and flatten it off and sell it for $2. So I thought, well, and then like a year later or something, we had little boys at the time. They had diapers and diaper rations. So I said, I want to try that. And I put a little bit under my arm and a little bit under the other arm, rub it in really good. Don't use a whole bunch. It's just a small amount. It's like less than what you use to brush your teeth. I mean, I use a tiny bit to brush my teeth, but it's just a little bit. And rub it in really good for about 30 seconds till it's all gone. And you will not have body odor for 1 full week. On the seventh day, you'll notice starting to smell a little bit. 8th day, you'll start to smell.
Works for most people.
Yeah, but if it doesn't work for you, put a little bit more on, because you might have missed a few hair follicles. But it kills bacteria. That's how the zinc oxide works. It kills the bacteria. The zinc does. A lot of those metals will do that. Aluminum does the same thing. It kills the bacteria, but it only lasts for a day. Then you got to put it on again in a roll-on or something. So, and you can buy that at Balmex is one brand. That's one I try to find if I can. And now Balmex company just sold, and I think it's being manufactured under the Equate brand from Walmart. It's the same price. It's like $2.50 for a tube of it. It'll last you for 3 or 4 years. So, I mean, it's for your whole family probably, and it's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's every day, but I just use the rock crystal.
Okay, that's a alum rock, and I found that you do that every day though. This one's nice because it's for a whole week. I don't even think about it until it's. If I smell a little something, I'll think back and say, oh, that's been about 7 days now. And
Actually, something like aluminum.
I don't think it is. I looked up the chemical properties of it. It's called alum, but I don't think it's made with aluminum. It's a crystal. But I'll have to look it up again.
People tell me that it is just
It's called
form of aluminum.
Yeah, it's called the Thai rock. So it might have some aluminum oxide or something in
I've been
it.
using it for years, but I decided to quit just because people.
Yeah, we need to look that one up and find out.
Change them when we're using a set of aluminum. Now we're using some aluminum.
Yeah, we're realizing it's too unclear to me. So we're using.
I just switched over to getting a little spray bottle and putting it halfway with hydrogen peroxide mixed
Yeah.
with water. And just spray that out in the morning and it goes all day.
Yeah, good. And again, you're killing bacteria.
It's simple, it's so inexpensive.
Yeah.
It's hydrogen peroxide.
Aluminum is bad for the brain. It causes Alzheimer's.
Bad for everything, yeah.
It's bad for more than the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So half H2O2 and half water.
Sorry?
Equal portions of
That's all I do.
H2O2.
3% of the hydrogen peroxide half the bottom of that, and then just good water. It's so simple.
So that zinc oxide, what else is in it other than zinc and?
Just some other, like petroleum, something. I don't know. It's 13% zinc oxide, 12 or 13. So it has a list of a few other things, but none of them. It might be not real good for you, but the zinc part I think is better than the aluminum anyway.
For sure.
Yeah, or you could use straight zinc oxide. But
Like a medicinal thing, you could
But
get something that's medicinal and then mix it with a more healthy.
yeah, you could.
For corona, they say that you should take zinc lozenges.
Sorry?
Zinc lozenges.
Yes.
Zinc also, it's part of your immune system. You need it to have good white blood cell function. So,
Sorry, to get to the case.
Okay. Thanks for coming. Yeah. See you later.
Yeah, alum here it says is a hydrated double sulfate salted aluminum.
But that doesn't.
That's why.
There's a lot more, but on Wikipedia
That's why it
you
works.
can find alum.
Okay.
On Wikipedia it says alum is a double sulfate. It's a hydrated double sulfate salt of aluminum. So there's a lot more on Wikipedia about it, but anyway, that's a short answer.
I've been so unclear, and finally, when I realized it is aluminum, it's just another form of it. I don't know if it's safe. I'm not going to use it.
Yeah. When in question,
I used to
Look up Google.
when in doubt, leave it out.
It's the wall for years,
probably for 8 years.
more than 8 years.
Well, for me.
I don't do wood
Because it's considered to be a natural thing.
Yeah, when I was in, one of my Filipino clients gave it to me when I was working, doing home care when I was studying at Loma Linda. So that would be prior to 2008.
You know, it's right here by our
Yeah,
reps.
Yeah,
So we have to be careful.
2008, so at least 2006.
People use all kinds of regular.
So maybe tonight you could do a charcoal poultice under your arms to get rid of all that aluminum
I'll use the bentonite.
bentonite. Yeah. Yeah, we got to start using the bentonite.
You know, I'm not 100% convinced it's bad, but I'm not usually
Yeah.
sure.
So your husband does hydrogen peroxide and water?
I was unconvinced that it would work, but when I ran out of something else that I was using, I started to try.
Does it work?
It works.
My friend
Good.
just uses lemon.
It's the bacteria that causes the smell.
Yeah.
So you can kill the
Lemon could probably help too.
And it's just 3%, right? 3%?
Hydrogen peroxide.
Yes, yeah, 3%. Half and half of that water.
One other simple little thing since you mentioned lemon is that if you get an eye infection, like pink eye or you get some kind of ooey gooey stuff, a little bit of lemon juice with water and just rinse your eye. You put one of those little cups, you put it in, but you only have like 3 drops in that tablespoon of water, and then you just open your eye and you just bat your eye around a little bit and do it regularly, maybe 2 or 3 times. My experience with that was unbelievable. My son was in nursing school, our son, and his nursing instructor said, whatever you do today, she said, whatever you do today, don't touch your eye while you're doing this experiment, because this particular bacteria or whatever it is, I forget which one it was, but it multiplies really fast. She said it will just make pus and ooze and stuff in your eyes. So he came home and he said, Dad, I rub my eyes and I look at this stuff, and he's wiping his eyes, and 10 minutes later it's oozing with some more, and I said, ew, this is going to be rough. And I said, I learned this from a naturopathic doctor. He said use just a few drops of fresh lemon juice in water and then rinse your eye with it. So we put just a tiny bit of salt with it too, just to make it, you know, more like the normal saline in your eye. And salt kills too, but dissolved it. And then just put it in a little eye cup and just let him do that. I think we did it twice that night. It totally cleared up. It was miraculous.
What was in the cup?
Lemon, a couple drops of lemon juice, fresh squeezed water with just the tiniest little bit of salt. You don't even need the salt, but water.
Make it more pleasant.
Yeah, water sometimes has a little chlorine. This probably neutralizes that chlorine, a little chlorine bit. But yes.
Out on the border where you had the plague of pink eye.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I did the line.
Hannah got it too.
Yeah, and I had it twice.
Yeah.
But the lime juice seemed to sting, burn the eye, but maybe the salt will make it not
A
sting
little
so
easier,
much.
or maybe just a little less.
Yeah, but what I found that really worked because some of it was viral and
Yeah.
some of it was bacterial.
Yeah.
And so some did not work. And so what I found, I think it was on the internet or some local person said breast milk. So I went and got some breast milk in a syringe, and I was going around putting it in everybody's eye, especially those. I tell you, that's the best of anything I tried.
Is that right?
Because it's both viral and bacterial. The eye drops you buy in the pharmacy is just bacterial.
Yeah.
And so some of us were viral. But this is really neat and it's cheap, and you just go find a mother that's nursing. Oh, Byron, can I have some mother's milk? Have her put it in the cup, and then you just take it by the syringe. That was great.
And if the demand is too much, you need to do a sit bath and some ice and then show her.
I tell you, it worked the best than anything. I was amazed. It's amazing what properties are in breast milk.
It is.
Yeah.
God didn't make any mistakes, did he?
Yeah.
There's some kind of cure for almost every single ailment we've got. We could stay here all night and discuss more of them. And we were kind of hoping to get to arthritis a little bit, but you know, we probably should stop now.
I do have one
Yeah?
colleague who's got severe arthritis. Can we just talk? Do you mind if we just talk?
Okay. Some of the things that are recommended for arthritis, and there's a list of different things that you can find. Turmeric is often used.
She uses turmeric. She's Indian, so she uses it.
I downloaded something that said that ginger is going to be used. They said that ginger was going to be one of the next NSAIDs, because it worked for 40% of the people that were taking ginger in a concentrated capsule instead of a placebo. 40% of them had decreased symptoms, marked decreased symptoms. It was in a capsule. It was quite non-steroidal anti-inflammatory.
Ibuprofen is an NSAID. And you can get that in some pharmacies here. You can get turmeric and ginger in capsules.
In the same capsule or separate?
Separate. And I have used it. Turmeric. Somebody has infected sores, stuff like that, I have to take a teaspoon of turmeric twice a day, and 3 days it's gone. I got the part. There's a medicinal turmeric that's much stronger than the medicinal.
There's an article in, I don't have where it's from, but it's called Hypoxia and its Implications in Rheumatoid Arthritis. Hypoxia and its implications in rheumatoid arthritis, and it looks like it was done in a Spanish country because it's Celia Marie Quinoz and Flores. Anyway, Journal of Biomedical Science, volume 23, and what they were saying is that rheumatoid arthritis has all kinds of, the joint is deteriorating, and oxygen, a lack of oxygen is one of the main reasons. So they're talking about that oxygen is really important. So whatever you can do to increase your oxygen level, it's important. And I read through this, and there was like about 40 or 50 different things that the body does wrong if there's not enough oxygen. Just listen to this. I won't be able to pronounce these right, but hypoxia and IL-17 have synergistic effects on the migration and invasion of synovial fibroblasts by increasing the expression of MMP2 and P9 via the NF-KB-HIF-1A pathway. HIF-1A also promotes the activation of signaling pathway and the controls IL-33 production by the fibroblast, which what I'm trying to say is that our bodies are really complicated. They are now figuring out all these different things that interact, and a lack of oxygen is causing all these amazing pathways that keep your joints lubricated, oxygenated, healthy, strong, and resilient. So keep breathing. Don't quit your breathing.
Yes.
Your posture is important.
Keep your rooms well ventilated.
Keep your rooms well ventilated. The conclusion of it was good too. If you want to see these, you're welcome to read this. But it's all this is to do with rheumatoid arthritis, but it applies to all kind of inflammation. Oxygen is highly important. Sunshine. We had a lady that came to Weimar years ago, in maybe our 5th or 6th group. We hadn't even built a sunroom yet. We were trying to build a solar area. So we really got busy when she got there because she had rheumatoid arthritis. She was taking 60 pills a day. She had a shopping bag full of different pills. She had 5 doctors, and most of them didn't know what each other was prescribing. She felt like she was going to die, and 20 years later, one of our doctors called her and she said, if I hadn't gone to Weimar, I would have died within the year. I'm positive. She was 58 years old. Now she's 78, and she said, I have not taken any of those pills for 20 years. I feel great. Thank you so much. I would have died long ago. I was having blood pressure problems from all those pills and all kinds of other gastric problems. She said she was a mess. We took her off of everything and did sun baths. She did 30 minutes a day, twice a day. And then later on it was 45 minutes twice a day. And then just on a healthy diet. And again, the happy heart. She was worried about her health and everything else, and then she was happy again. The spiritual component of our health programs is really important. The sun with the anti-inflammatory products, and it also helps with vitamin D production in your system, so it helps with healthy bones, healthy tissues. She looked a little tan, but she was healthy. She felt great. She was from Washington State, I think, so they don't have a lot of sunshine up there.
The 1918 flu epidemic, the Spanish flu, they treated them outdoors in the sun and fresh air, and those are the people that survived. Same thing now. The people that are getting the coronavirus are the ones that are inside all the time. In these hot countries, especially, it doesn't live outside. The virus dies within a few minutes. If it's above
In the sunshine?
Above 69 or 70 degrees. Yeah.
It doesn't last more than 5 minutes or so. So,
Even the current virus?
yeah, I think
They
that's.
said heat up the face and the nostrils, the sinuses, do heat packs or something.
Or steam.
Yeah.
Steam inhalation. It's probably good.
Turn off the air conditioning.
Enjoy the 88 degree weather. Breathe it deeply. It's probably killing viruses as we speak.
So there's one good thing about it.
Yeah, it's true. And if you look at the map, the hotter countries is not spreading as much. It's more of the
One other thing with arthritis that we were talking about, if you use, some people claim that cinnamon and honey are really helpful for arthritis. I'm going to give you the proportions. See if I can find that where we had that. It was 1 tablespoon of cinnamon with 2 tablespoons of honey, or you can use a half. I'm sorry. Teaspoon. Yeah, it should be teaspoon. Well, it's 1 to 2. A half a teaspoon of cinnamon with a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So, of honey. That's written wrong there. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of honey. Yeah, it's written wrong here. So,
There's a lot of good claims that really helps.
Really?
They ingest that.
How many times a day?
yeah, you can, someone said take that morning and evening. I've had some of my patients that I've given this to them, and I say, you know, you can even mix a little peanut butter with that and put it on your toast. It's really tasty on toast. Cinnamon and honey. But, and they've claimed that their joint pain has decreased quite a bit. Some of my older patients, so
Did you run into arthritis much here, Tyler?
some, not too much.
Oh, it's a lot out there in the hill tribes. That's because they overwork, don't drink enough water, and so they're grinding down their joints.
Yeah.
And so then what they have is a permanent
Osteoarthritis, just a worn out
and
joint.
they ask me, what can I do? And I'm going like, you carry heavy loads, you know, like this. Yeah. And I says, you need to take a break. He says, but I can't. I have to work to bring in food and bring money.
Get a water buffalo.
To carry the heavy bag.
Carry the heavy stuff, yeah. In Nepal, they have herniated neck vertebrae because they carry with a band across their forehead, and they carry 200-pound bags, 100 kilos of rice down a mountain. And these little people, and it's on all that weight's on their neck. It's resting on their back, but their head's holding a lot of it. Especially if they have to, you know, get upright a little bit. But you know, but they won't use the animals as burdens of beasts of burden. They would rather carry it themselves instead of having those poor holy cows to carry it down the hill. When the cow would be healthier if they do it too. If we can just convince them that the cow would be healthier by getting some exercise, they might go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. They just sit around town munching away and chewing their cud.
Yeah, how's the beast do that for that day?
So there were a number of different things I was reading about arthritis, but those are some of them. The ginger, the turmeric, and they say there's specific ones that are better than others and so forth. You could look it up. One had the 5 best sources and so forth, and it had a list of them. I can pull it up for you in a few minutes if you want, but just look online. They said don't use the Amazon ratings, because a lot of times the people themselves who sell these things rate them. 100 people will rate that particular product that are all friends of that company, or they might rate it under different phones of their friends. So it's stuffed ratings. So they said better to get from, and there is a naturopathic doctor guy that rated these different things. They rate level A, B, C minus, C plus, and so forth. I'll find that for you. I don't have it right here. Yeah. Okay. Any more inputs? You guys had all kinds of interesting things. Why don't we demonstrate the solar pack?
Let me just mention something since we're on this topic. If you want to do quality research about herbs, there's a website that will tell you what the herbs are. It's called iherb.com.
Oh yeah.
iHerb. Was that?
Is that research?
The guy,
They tell you about the herb.
Lowercase I, not EYE. I, little I.
All expats in Korea get all their stuff from my home. Get all of us.
What they said is that they carry, they list the ones that are really high quality, and you can see, you know, what kind of ratings there are on them.
It's based in Moreno Valley, California. And before I left Korea, it's like, it's my name, it's right next door to me. I didn't discover I heard until I left California.
It's actually based in Moreno Valley, California. California.
It's in California, it's U.S.
So apparently in Thailand, there is an iHerb club you can join. So some of the things will come in through to the inspection in the airport, but they don't guarantee it. They don't guarantee it.
So, how about this bone set again, Marilyn?
Yeah, pass it down to her.
The bone set tea is something that I have used over the years. I researched it, found when I was first coming to Thailand, because I was wanting to know what do I do if I have to deal with malaria or dengue. And I researched things, and I finally came up with bone set tea is the best option out there. And when we came to Thailand, I was getting in, I have had an experience where I got sick and my fever was just shooting up, and I could tell within an hour or two I was going to be just incapacitated. You know, it was just like escalating very fast, terribly painful joints, just going downhill like faster than fast. And I remembered in time to get the bone set, and I usually, this is a bitter herb, and so I mix it with licorice if you can, because both of those are real strong antivirals. So bone set tea mixed with licorice and some ginger. I mean, there's really nothing better. And I drank some of that. I think I drank 2 cups of it, and within an hour, my fever was going back down. I was feeling better, and I recovered quickly. I don't know, I never make 1 cup at a time. I usually make up like a quart at a time, and I put like 2-3 tablespoons in that. And anyway, I have found it extremely helpful. Anytime there's a recurring fever kind of thing that just won't get over, anytime you have a flu you're just feeling really awful, terribly achy joints, any kind of virus kind of thing like that, I would highly recommend. Huh?
Arthritis? That's a white.
I cannot tell you. All I know is that it's effective for viral things.
It helps to clean out the toxins from the bug.
Yeah, it's with dengue. What it seems to do is break down the poison that the bugs put out, the viruses put off, the toxin, and that toxin shuts down the blood circulation, and that's why it's so achy. You take this, and within a short time, it's like that toxin has been broken down, and the blood is circulating, and it stimulates appetite, which is good for dengue, because dengue shuts down appetite. I mean, it's just one of those things that you realize, God is so good. How did he come? It is grown in America. They had dengue before.
Oh, back in Ellen White's day.
Back in Ellen White's day, they had dengue fever, and this is what the settlers wouldn't be caught dead without having this with them. I mean, they always would harvest it from the marshes and then hang it to dry from the rafters of their little shelters.
So it grows in marshes, along water, edge of water.
The malaria is not
No, but it seems to be helpful for malaria as well. So I don't know, it might be good for scrub typhus, but I cannot tell you that. I truly don't
So
know.
let's say because the papaya leaves, the locally papaya leaves.
Yes,
Papaya leaves for antimalarial and dengue.
yes, that's very true.
Yeah, papaya leaves.
Papaya leaf, so we make a tea of it.
And you can just
You can juice the papaya.
You just juice it, and 1
It's
tablespoon
extremely
to 2
bitter.
tablespoons, and you take that every day for dengue. That's what the Quran did. That's where we learned it. That's from the Quran. Yeah, so just make a juice. They pound it in a mortar, like till they take the juice out. Yeah, and then they squeeze it till you get your 1 to 2 tablespoons. That's what you
Why don't we
do.
just use the regular juice?
Yeah, you can. They just don't have it out there, so we just do mortar and pestle.
Squeeze it and then maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons a day.
Yeah. Or twice.
That's
a day.
about all you can handle. It's really
very
bitter.
It's very bitter. You can put it in a cloth. That's right. I put it in a cloth and then squeezed it out.
So when the ASAP students in Lao were in Ayutthaya for their training, they would take the papaya leaves, cut them, cook them, and serve them for lunch, for fellowship lunch.
Oh, okay.
And I can just eat it. So I started eating it. We started cutting our own and eating it.
It's really,
It's not that bad.
bitter.
It's bitter, but it's not that
Bitter
bitter.
is better.
There you go.
It's
Not quite as bitter
sure
if it's
good
cooked.
for you.
It's not as bad as it's cooked, but it's not.
I think
It's still bitter.
just as bad.
Yeah.
We're cured about everything we got. One other little booklet I wanted to mention. This is called Biblical Response Therapy.
Oh, praise God.
And
That's
Great.
yeah, and we have a relative that's using this at Eden Valley, Kate Schleifer, and she tells us that this has been one of the most eye-opening things. She's a psychology-focused nurse, mental health nurse, and she just finds this so helpful because it brings people to Jesus, and it helps to unwind, especially if they're, like a lot of their patients are cancer patients, and if nothing else, they find Jesus through this counseling method, but it also allows the body to start its healing process, and some of them get much better. So yes.
Just a note, Dr. Gephardt, Dan Gephardt, who wrote the book, is at Black Hills. You can go on to Audioverse and you can listen to some of his talks, and they'll help you convince you that you want to get that book.